Lena loved movement, running until her lungs burned, laughing until her cheeks hurt. She believed life could never truly break her. Until that night, rain slammed against the windshield. The world blurred into streaks of light and water. A split second, headlights, a crash that shattered everything. Then silence. When she woke up, she felt nothing. No strength, no control. Her body lay still, like it no longer belonged to her. Permanent damage, the doctors said. You may never walk again. Those words echoed endlessly. Days turned into sleepless nights. She stared at the ceiling, wondering why she had even woken up. Rehabilitation began, but it felt pointless. Her body resisted her. Every attempt ended in pain, in failure, in tears she could no longer hold back. One day, she fell so hard during an exercise that she didn't get back up. "I don't want this anymore," she whispered. No one had an answer. But somewhere, buried beneath the pain and emptiness, something remained. Not hope, but stubbornness. Something that refused to die. The next day, she tried again. And again. And again. Until her legs, shaking and fragile, held her weight for a moment. Just seconds, but enough. From that point on, she fought. Not because she believed things would get better, but because she refused to disappear. When she finally managed to walk again, there was no joy, only quiet determination. She had to keep going. The idea of walking around the world didn't come from hope, but from necessity. She needed something bigger than her pain, something that could give meaning to what had been broken. So she began. The world wasn't beautiful the way she once imagined. It was harsh, cold, indifferent. She walked through rain, through heat, through loneliness. Her body broke her again and again. Sometimes she stumbled. Sometimes she barely moved forward. At night, she lay awake in pain. During the day, she hid it behind a steady face. People called her inspiring. But inside, she felt shattered. Still, she kept going. Step by step, city by city, country by country. And slowly something began to change. Not in her body, but in her eyes. She saw people who suffered like she did. People who had lost everything. And in their eyes, she recognized the same emptiness she once carried. And she understood. Her journey was no longer about a record. It was about them. When she reached the end, there was no triumph. Only tears. Heavy, silent tears for everything she had carried. She had walked around the world, but the pain hadn't disappeared. After the journey, the emptiness returned, deeper than before. Without a goal, everything felt meaningless again. Until a letter arrived. A girl wrote that she had wanted to give up until she saw Lena. Those words cut deeper than anything before. Because Lena realized, even in her brokenness, she had reached someone. That became her new path. She returned to hospitals, to rooms filled with silence and despair. She didn't speak as a hero, but as someone who knew what it meant to be broken. One day, she met Elise. When Elise fell and cried that she couldn't do it, Lena saw herself again. Not the strong version, but the shattered one. "I can't do this," Elise said. Lena looked at her, her voice soft but heavy with truth. "I thought that too," she said. "And sometimes, I still do." That honesty lingered. With effort, Elise stood up. One step. That was enough. Years later, Lena sat alone on a bench. Her body was tired. Every step still hurt. Some things had never healed. But she was still there. She watched the world move on, people unaware of how fragile everything truly was. She closed her eyes and felt her scars. Not as weakness, but as proof that she had suffered and still remained. Slowly, she stood up. Her movements were slower now, but certain. And with a voice that was quiet, yet unbreakable, she said, "You don't have to be whole to keep going. You just have to refuse to stay down." She took a deep breath. And despite everything, she took another step. And another. And another. Until she disappeared into the distance. Not healed, but unbreakable.